welcome to a how-to video on building homes in The Sims 4. Now this is just going to be a basic step-by-step process that I pretty much take when building homes. Obviously everyone is different when it comes to style and creativity wise, but this is going to be a basic on how I get from A to Z on building a home in The Sims. Now before I get into it, let me just send a big shout out to the requester of this video, Shannon Crossing. She left a comment on one of my videos requesting this. Thank you so much, Shannon, for your suggestion, and if anyone else has any requests, please make sure that you leave a comment down below so that I know. And while you're there, make sure to like and subscribe to follow and see all my other videos that I post. Now when it comes to building new homes in The Sims, it can sometimes be a daunting task to figure out. Where to start, how to make it come to life, how you imagine it is like the hardest part of it all, just trying to get started. But not to worry, I'm going to give you some simple steps and suggestions to help you get there. The first thing you want to be sure you know is what you want the build to be used for in The Sims. Is it for a specific challenge, a certain lifestyle? Are you building your dream home? Or are you just going for a look? This helps in knowing what requirements your home has to have. Like, is it supposed to be functional? Or is it just decoration for your neighborhood? Should it have a room for a yoga studio or a farm in the backyard? Once you know where you want to go with this build, that will extremely help you in building the basic foundation of it. Now, once you have your basic idea in your head of what you want to build, the next step is finding references. I cannot stress how much references are key with building. You don't have to make it exactly how you find it with your references, but they are fantastic starting points. So before I start actually building anything in The Sims, I make sure to find as many references as I possibly can, both online and on Pinterest. So like in this video, I'm making Kiki's Delivery home, so I made sure to find a bunch of reference pictures online like these. I found them online and on Pinterest. I even found a little Lego one, like I thought that was perfect. Like it gives it a little bit more structure too. You'll see throughout this video how I'm struggling to actually make it look like the Ghibli movie version of Kiki's Delivery because the structure doesn't work in The Sims. I had to end up using the Lego format to actually make it come to life and work. So that's a good example of why references are so good. It showed me a second option that still looked like the home but was functional. Another form of references is watching other building videos, like the one you're watching currently. Thank you so much, by the way. But watching other people's builds, like either via Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, there are building videos on The Sims almost everywhere. Find ones on YouTube, like this how-to video. A good resource that I watch a lot is James Turner. He's freaking great in The Sims. But pulling up those videos and watching those, you really get to a feel and an idea of how builds can come to life. You can also pull builds from the gallery. Just put them into your Sims game and pick them apart, especially interior designs. Some people are crazy with how they are able to use items that you would never think of possible. So those are huge when it comes to figuring out how to build. Now, I want you to ask yourself if you want to build in the normal Sims 4 fashion of a very grid-like format. As we all know, there's the grid on The Sims for plots, and when you place an item, it usually has to go inside a square or in a specific kind of way in those squares, right? But do you want a little bit more freedom? This next part is completely optional. It's completely based on how you want to do it, but I find it 10 times easier to build using cheats. So the reason I do this is it gives you more freedom in moving objects around and putting them places, making them big and small. It even allows you to have a few more items. So I'm going to put a link in the description to a site that has a bunch of these cheats listed. So you can go to their site, and it also has a step-by-step on how to input them, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a know-how right now. So if you don't know how to open up the cheat menu, you're going to press Control-Shift-C on your keyboard all at the same time, kind of like the Control-Alt-Delete. And then you will have the cheat bar open on the upper left-hand side of the screen. If you've watched a few of my other building videos, you've probably seen me open this once or twice and input the codes. So now the most common ones I use to build are testing cheats on. Testing cheats is one word. This allows you to use cheats just in general. It kind of just opens up the game. Now the main one I always use is bb.moveObjects, all one word. This allows free reign on placing and moving items in your build, and if you use the Alt key, like hold it down, you get even more movement in options of placing things. That's probably, if you've always wondered like how I get items in certain places, because when you try to do it, it doesn't let you. That's how I do it. It allows you freedom. You don't have to stick to the basic grid. One thing I do know is that if you ever become a builder for the Sims like team, for one of their new like areas or anything like that, you do have to stick to certain rules, and that does include not using bb.moveObjects. So that's why some of the like pre-built homes look weird or funky, because they're sticking to the basic rules. Lastly is one I just kind of started using, but it's super helpful, is bb.showHiddenObjects. This one gets you debug items that are normally not available to use on builds. It just gives you some random little things that you can use. Obviously, if you're wanting to use this game for this build for an actual game, maybe don't use these, because some of them are like awards or something, and it might push your game past a certain point that you want it if you collect them all with your sim. So keep that in mind with that one. But they're cool when you're just making a fun like build like what I'm doing here. And so if you have a desire for any other cheats, you can find lists upon lists online. But these I feel like are the main ones to use. Again, I do have a link in the description to a site that has a bunch of cheats listed that are both for building and for in-game use. Now that you have figured out what you want to build, and if you want to use cheats, you've got your references in hand. Now it's time to actually start building. When building a new house, make sure you select a lot that is plenty big enough. Don't make yourself squish into a smaller space than what your vision is, because you can always transport the build to a smaller lot later if you want to. So start on a larger one so you do not constrict yourself. That just makes life super hard. Now, as you are probably seeing on most of your reference material, is that most homes 9 times out of 10 are not symmetrical on the outside. Yeah, some are because it's appealing, but not all of them, because builds are more interesting when they are not the same on all the sides. So you don't want to do just a basic box when building. Start with a box and then add some parts that stick out or go in on one section, or when you go up a level, have it come in on a side as to have like a balcony or maybe just an extra rooftop. You know how when you watch those like old movies, I wouldn't say old actually, no, the main movie I'm thinking of is Sky High. There's that scene where they get to crawl out of his window and sit on the roof. That's an interesting thing to add, right? That you can go straight from the window onto a roof. So that's something to give it some character. Once you have that foundation done, I usually move on to the roof, because I want to be sure that everything fits the style I'm going for before I start decorating at all. And if you didn't know this, now you do. Roofs have a style as well, especially in The Sims. So a more curved inward look, like what I did on my Spirited Away build, that fits a more Asian style home, that kind of inward curve. But if you do a little bit more outward curve, that fits a little bit more of a barn or farm-styled look. Roofs can sometimes be the hardest part of a build because they're just funky all the way around. You probably saw me messing around a crap ton with this Kiki's Delivery one. They're just hard. Keep messing with different options and ideas until you find one that works or that you like the most. And if you simply just cannot figure out how to make a roof work on the layout that you currently have, change the layout. It's okay to make one side a slightly different shape than what you were initially planning. Make it so that it works with your style and idea that you're going for. You're not set in stone on that foundation. Go back and change it to fit the roof style that actually works for the build. Now, y'all know this is coming, but the last step for making a Sims build is decorating. Super straightforward. This is all about your personal preferences and the style you are going for. I cannot tell you how to decorate the home. Decorating is what brings the build to life and what gives it character. I cannot tell you how to do that. It's all about experimenting and taking your time. Please do not rush through decorating. If it's not your favorite thing to do, only decorate the outside. If that's not like your thing, that's totally fine. Just decorate the outside. If you're more of an interior designer, make a box and decorate the crap out of the inside. Find references of interior design or exterior design if you have no clue where to go. My videos are extremely sped up, and sometimes I've cut parts out because I'm literally stuck on a spot where I'm just staring at it and I can't figure out how to decorate it. So I take my time, I look up other pictures, I take a mental break and then come back and finish it later. No detail is too small when it comes to decorating. Add a plant. Make your sim paint a picture and then hang it on the wall of the home. If you're making an artist home, that's an awesome way to decorate it. Make a hidey hole in the house where only the kids are allowed to go. A lot of the time I spend on my builds is choosing the right wallpaper and furniture to fit my idea. Interior design is one of the hardest things for me, but for my sister, for example, she is studying interior design, so that's the part that's easiest for her. Don't get discouraged if you can't make a certain color palette work. Try something different or replace one of the colors with a completely different one to see if it works and you like it. Try a layout in your build. If it doesn't work, move things around. If it still doesn't work, maybe it needs to go to a different part of the home. But add the basic structure of your build. Add a basic kitchen, add a basic living room, dining room, bedroom. Then go in and add the small details. The little plants all over the place, the little makeup, the little spoon set, a rug, a side table, a lamp. Do the big things first. Get your basic structure and design down. Do you want an open concept? Do you want it to be extremely natural in the inside? Do you want it to be super high tech and functional like it's in the future? It's all back to your idea and the basic reference photos and everything that you got at the very beginning. Go back to those. They have suggestions on that as well. But the number one thing I can say with decorating is just take your time. Find something that works with trial and error. Sometimes you put something up and after you figured out, oh, I love this furniture, but the wallpaper looks like crap next to it. Change the wallpaper. Decorating is all about trial and error. Until you get used to decorating, you're not going to know exactly where you want to go. This is, again, the number one place I look for references. I struggle with interior design. Not necessarily that I'm like bad at it, I would say, but it's definitely a struggle for me, and I've gotten better with it after the years and years of playing Sims. So when it comes to this last part, make it the biggest part. If it's on the outside or the inside or both, make it the biggest part. Even if it's as simple as picking the right wallpaper and flooring. So, If you've made it this far, thank you so much for joining me on this how-to video with building in The Sims 4. Just to recap, step 1, make sure you figure out your idea and what you want to build. Step 2, make sure you find as many references as you possibly can. Step 3, use cheats if you want. Step 4, build that foundation, make it unique, and figure out that roofing, because that's a tricky one. And then step 5, decorate the crap out of it. Thank you again for joining me, and thank you again, Shannon, for requesting this video. I had a fun time making it. If you guys liked what you saw, make sure you like and subscribe, and leave me a comment down below if you want to see any other videos, or just want to say hi. I'd love to hear from you guys. But thank you once again for joining me, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!